We have always had homeless residents living in Overlook. There are certain parts of the neighborhood where they've congregated, and we've never had problems. Hazelnut Grove was something different.
Hazelnut Grove was the name adopted by a group of houseless men and women who organized themselves into a self-governing village.
Houseless people have the right and the responsibility to be involved in choices that affect their destiny and their outcomes in life. When they step forward and say, we have a way to find safety, stability, and community that will move us forward in life, we need to listen to them and support that.
The city did listen and provided porta potties, trash cans, and a fence. Tents were soon replaced by more permanent structures. Some members of the Overlook Neighborhood Association, like Peter Parks, volunteered to help.
At least some of us in the neighborhood really appreciate what's going on here.
But others insisted the location was not suitable for a village. Perhaps most critically, they resented the city's failure to consult with the neighborhood before offering Hazelnut Grove official sanction.
That lack of communication created an environment of distrust.
Finally, it was residents of Hazelnut Grove who first took the initiative.
We began attending the neighborhood association meetings, members of the Grove, and really forthrightly and frankly tell their stories.
I had to go on disability, early disability, so I didn't have a retirement set up, and now I live on that income.
Here, you get empowered to actually take charge of your life and are very, very encouraged to improve it.
Many neighbors welcomed the Grovers' participation and the improved communication, but others feared their rising influence and moved to limit board positions to members with a house address. In response, the city threatened to revoke Overlook's funding for their lack of inclusivity.
The neighborhood associations were established in the city of Portland to improve and increase civic involvement in an inclusive manner. It's been a challenge to do that because neighborhood associations have typically in Portland been old white homeowners.
They do tend to be kind of dominant culture, white, educated, homeowning. But on the other hand, those are people who care about the community enough to go to meetings.
Amidst the battle over Hazelnut Grove, a village of houseless women was forming in the nearby Kenton neighborhood. But the story of Kenton was different.
So the city came to us. While there are some other villages around, there weren't any that were supervised, or managed by a social service agency.
Catholic Charities was only willing to do the project if they had community support, so they reached out immediately to the neighborhood association.
I was talking to the same person for over an hour at one of the open houses that we had, and he just had many, many, many questions. And finally he said, I just want to have someone I can call if something goes wrong. And I said, I'll give you my cell phone number. And he goes, your personal cell number? And I said, yeah.
At the critical point, the neighbors were asked to have a vote.
And we won't do the Kenton Women's Village in that spot if the neighborhood votes against it. It was a great leap of faith to give that a shot. Then the group voted 2-1 to go ahead. It was really a good moment.
Having voted to accept the Women's Village, the Kenton neighbors took ownership of it. Many came to help build it.
We were overwhelmed, actually, with goodwill. We had so many donations of food and of clothing.
Being homeless, you become kind of invisible. Knowing that we were, valued in the community, they wanted us here.
Looking back on her leap of faith, Margie DeShane feels torn over whether it was the right thing to do.
The city has to be able to place those needed services where they have available space to put them. I don't know that neighbors necessarily should get to decide,
Still, many are looking to the Kenton experience as a model.
We need neighborhood associations to be involved. If Hazelnut Grove had been able to include the Overlook Neighborhood Association in the very beginning, it would have been a completely different relationship.
For us, one of the biggest challenges is getting non-homeowners involved, more renters, and more diversity onto our board.
They need to be finding ways to be more welcoming so that the definition of us is bigger.